Welcome back to the Fisher Protocol, the only show where calling who the greatest rock and roll band is not subjective. I'm here with Tom. We're going to talk about bass dances. Hey, Tom.
What's going on there, Ethan?
So last time we talked about an album I really didn't like too much called It's Hard. Of course, it was an earworm the next week, but then we got to listen to the first album by The Who with Kenney Jones as drummer. It was called Bass Dances. What do you think?
I spent more time with this album than It's Hard in the past. So I was a little more familiar with it. But there were still some things I maybe had heard a couple times. So overall, I think it's a solid album. And kind of what I'm struggling with, we've kind of, the wheel has always kind of led us in certain directions as far as albums. It's just so weird to compare, like, all right, imagine none of the other albums existed and this is the first album they ever put out. How good is it? It's an all right album. It's not bad. So it's just hard to, like, compare it to other stuff. So I try to really compartmentalize, like, the album and go, all right, is it a good album overall? I try not to compare it to anything else and just, like, let's focus on this. And I enjoy the album. There's a couple of memorable spots for me, but is it, do I see myself, like, throwing it on at work when I'm, jamming out and I got some time to listen to some music? Maybe not. I don't know. It's all right.
It's Hard was very painful for me to listen to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I couldn't put it on in any kind of social situation in the background, or when I was doing stuff around the house. It seemed like a complete chore. This was easier than that.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, the wheel and, the plan for the wheel might change soon.
Yeah.
But it's I like having the context of going backwards and listening to the thing. So this was actually a much easier listen. But is there anything standing out? There's, like, one standout for me that I didn't know before, or I didn't really, like, pay attention to before, and the Who fans will crucify me for that when we get to it. I liked it more than It's Hard, for sure, but it, memorable is not a word I would use to describe the album.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course, one of the most memorable songs is kind of one of the poppiest songs The Who has ever done. It's a song that's been a staple of their act since it's come out. I mean, it's very hard pressed for me to find. I mean, I even think when they do, like, their 5-song encore on the back of an opera of some kind, it's always one of those. And it's the song, it's the opener. It's a little song we've all heard before called You Better You Bet. It is, I need to look at the timeline. Maybe when did this come out compared to Empty Glass? This is before Empty Glass?
I don't know.
I should check that out. We probably should have researched the album some a little bit before we did this, but that's okay. This was before Empty Glass, I think.
I think so, too. And I think Pete had written this song earlier on. This is kind of, like, stashed away a little bit.
Okay.
I think.
Empty Glass was released on May 10th. Woohoo! I was 1 year old. Sorry. Too much information. May 10th, 1980.
Okay, yeah.
And Bass Dances was released in 1981. So he had this one squared away because I feel like, there's 2 songs. Those 2 songs kind of go together.
Yeah.
They're the same 3-chord, perfect, shimmering pop that when Pete Townsend really digs deep and wants to have a hit, he can come up with the hits that will last for ages and ages and ages. And unlike Eminence Front, which would come later, this is a different kind of pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun one. You know what I mean? It's got the energy. I don't know. It's got everything you want in a song. There's not much you can say about it that hasn't been said. It just, it just shows how good of a writer he is. You imagine writing a song that's, going to be in your greatest hits, going to be in your, it's going to be there forever. It's such a solid song.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's not much that hasn't been said because I don't think there is too much to say. It's not deep. It does have a personal shout out to himself.
Yep.
I mean, I always thought that was weird picturing him sitting listening to Who's Next. But maybe he does. Maybe he likes T-Rex and Who's Next. You know what I mean? But, I love the song. Maybe I'd like to hear something else at a live concert, but I'll take I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's not it'd take me a while if I was like going to start rattling off songs off the top of my head and my favorite, it'd take me a while to get there. But, if somebody was like, oh, what about, You Better You Bet? I'd be, oh, yeah, that's a good one. So
yeah, that's a song.
Yeah.
That they do. That
live, I enjoy it live when Pete's playing it. Like, it's a fun song to watch him play.
Yeah. And it's got an interesting bridge, and I like it. But now we kind of go into like the rest of the album mode, which is almost it. I don't know. Don't let go of the coat.
Yeah, not for you.
Here's the thing: none of them are not for me. I wouldn't skip. There's not one like a song on here that makes me cringe and want to skip it.
I've got one or two.
Okay. But I find myself deeply caring about any song on the album that much.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're all there. They're all decent. I like Don't Let Go of the Coat. For some reason or another, I don't know. It just this is definitely an earworm for me. Gets stuck in there. It was the second single off the album, apparently. And I could see why. I mean, if I had to pick one off the album, it would probably be that one. I keep like waiting for it to take off a little bit, but it kind of feels like it stays in first gear the whole time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it for some reason.
I don't know why the Who tries to do this conga thing sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely strange. And like Roger's vocals are weird. Like they're just going for a different sound. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And how much of it is them trying to announce that we do have a new drummer, so the band fundamentally is going to be different?
Yeah, I can't imagine how you do it.
Yeah. We got a little bit of woke Pete on this one. I like this one, I need your body, but I can't demand it. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
At least you can't demand it. And of course I was reading into it. Of course, technically it's Mayor Baba's coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're shocked that way.
Yeah. Surprise.
I'm ready to move on to clear my browser cache. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a dad joke, people. Yesterday was the day I actually did the research into like what the song means.
Yeah.
And he's literally playing hide and seek with bears.
Yeah, I did the same thing earlier this week, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I'd listened to the song a bunch. I mean, I again, probably 10 or 15 listens on the album, and every time I get the song, I just don't enjoy it, and I was kind of trying to listen to the vocals and dissect what the hell was going on. I try to get like an honest opinion on myself before I like do any research, and I was like, what the fuck is this about? Looking for like some symbolic meaning or it hurt my head. And then like when I looked it up, I was like, oh no, he literally went and like tried to go into a bear enclosure and hang out with the bears. So it shows you where Pete was mentally in that time, I guess.
He was literally in France, right? Or somewhere, or
Switzerland, yeah.
Switzerland, and he had to be pulled from to go back on stage, to get pushed on stage.
Yeah, they like flew, like choppered him out and like took him to wherever, Vienna or whatever they were playing that night.
That's some straight James Hetfield type stuff.
Yeah, he wanted to go be a tramp for the day or something, like 2 days. He like went up to the wood, the mountains where the bears were kept in cages and had a bottle of brandy and
I'm not one to judge, but you have kids, man. You should probably go see him.
Yeah, I think it was a strange, heavy, dark cloud that pops up over his head every once in a while. And people need to look after him for sure. But ooh,
Sometimes you get cash, cash. Oh, yeah. Um,
I tell you what, that song is definitely worth listening to for the like really trying to focus on the bass lines. Um, the one guy on YouTube is knocking out all these isolated tracks. I would definitely love to see him knock out this bass line for me because there's some parts towards the end. I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
and I'm gonna find out that guy's name
Dr.
soon.
Johnson or something, right?
What, Fitzsimmons or
I subscribe to it. Hold on, let me see.
hold on, is it the Hellion 92? Is that him? No, no. The Hellion 92, by the way, you're doing the Lord's work as far as
Mr. John Lennon 007.
John Lennon 007 on YouTube.
Mr. John Lennon, yeah.
Mr. John.
He does a lot of isolated tracks, and he's been doing a lot of Who stuff.
Yeah, and I can't find it now, but I'll post his thing at the bottom. He's doing a lot of isolated ones, and they go deeper than your rock band tracks. And I think he did all of Tommy isolated vocals. It's really good. And you wanted to do cash, 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 cash.
Yeah, it's just one I don't think like anybody would be like, oh yeah, I want to hear the bass line in that. But I don't know. I'm always like each listen through, I kind of try to listen to somebody different. And when I listen to bass stuff, it's it's always laughable when anybody's not or M Whistle's not at the top of the greatest bass player list of all time.
I don't even that's one of those ones where I just look.
Yeah.
Where he's at and that bass, because if you're not in 2 or 3 and you do something stupid like, sorry, Paul McCartney is like number 1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go away. Speaking of John Entwistle, here's a song that people are going to hate me for not really knowing. I knew it was there.
Yeah.
This song that we're about to talk about gets buried as a B-side to You Better You Bet, so it doesn't have a chance to be the second single. It could be. It's the quiet one.
Yep.
Once again, John Entwistle, I don't like his other song on this CD, but yeah. I do like this one.
Yeah, definitely.
And that, along with that huge one from It's Hard, which, of course, I forgot the name of already. It's an amazing song.
Yeah.
And it's in your face, it's balls to the wall, John Entwistle, and that's it. It's great.
Yeah, no, I had listened to this a bunch. I can't remember what the live. John's got a live like double CD out, double album out somewhere.
Left for Live.
Yeah. And
Live Deluxe. Get it?
I have that one. I hammered through that when I got my hands on it eventually years ago, and I love that CD. And this is on that album. And I love this song, and I didn't have to do too much research on it, but I did look it up, and he wrote this song to stop having to play My Wife live. He was just tired of singing that song. So this was his thought process was he could do this one instead of My Wife. And Boris the Spider he was tired of as well. But yeah, he kind of said something like, we're doing all these, in the studio, we're doing all this music, and then like live, we're so much better and so much like more rock and roll. He's like, I miss that. So this is kind of his goal, is to make the Who play some like hard, heavy rock and roll. And he's like, we just don't keep doing live albums because we're so much better live.
And Pete's really, really going into this I'm writing to protect my hearing phase.
Yep.
Like you really hear it in this record, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
He took this opportunity to get the new drummer to really start writing like that, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And Did You Steal My Money is a good example of that, simply because it reminds me of another Empty Glass track. It reminds me of Keep On Working.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, were you done with the quiet one?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It seems to be a pretty obvious story if you're a rich guy. We've covered this ground with him before, if you're an uber rich, uber superstar, having trust issues with people.
Yeah.
I mean, did you like it?
No, I don't like this song. This is one of the ones I could skip every time and I wouldn't miss it. Just
Is it because at the end it sounds like you can lick my gaucho asshole? Even though it doesn't say that, even though it doesn't say that.
It's I don't know. It just stylistically I don't like it. Just like the ping ponging like vocals in my headphone. Just nothing about it. I enjoy it. You'll know the answer to this. There's what's the Queen song that's kind of like, hey, you stolen.
I was just gonna say, if you want this, go listen to the Prophet song by Queen.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're asking about?
And there's that one, but they also have one about like stealing money, right? Like they had their manager stole their money too, right?
Death on Two Legs. Is there one? I don't know if there's specifically one about. I know that one's about their manager that they didn't like or whatever.
Yeah, Death on Two Legs. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pete says in the interview about it, it's like they the story behind it doesn't make anyone look good, the person who did it or me, so it doesn't matter. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
And but this and the next song, like at least they were able to movement it out a little. There's movements. By the way, he didn't say like my gaucho asshole. That's what I just heard the first time I heard it. He said,
yeah, no, I can, yeah, I knew the part you're talking about.
No, for the people. I know you.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening to this, I just didn't want them to think I just said that for no reason. Nick, my gelt, you asshole, is what he said, which makes me feel good because, I'm Jewish and I like hearing Pete say gelt. And because it stereotypes him and Ringo Starr are obviously both Jewish, and Ronnie Wood are all Jewish. We're all Jewish. We all eat bagels and cream cheese. That's how it goes. It's not true. It's not true at all. All right, we don't need to go in anymore. I mean, I was going to tell that unbelievably two huge books of like all the magazine clippings from The Who ever, and one of them tells this awesome story, which I feel like I've told online before. Well, it's not an awesome story, but it's a story that someone basically weaseled their way into his inner circle by pretending to be a Meher Baba devotee. And, working at the Meher Baba Center, I think in South Carolina is where, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I remember the story, yeah.
Yeah, and, I think he finally wins Pete Townshend's trust and everything, and Pete's like, all right, well, here's all the cleaning up, and here's the keys you need, and Pete comes in the next morning, and the guy's, like, covered in bootleg tapes, just like listening to all the Tommy demos, and, like, obviously used him just to get to that, and he comes in like a drug addict, like, putting the tapes on the reels, like, just to listen to them, and it's like, all right, well, this is weird, and over, bye,
Yeah.
And you just have to deal with that stuff all the time.
Yeah, I can't imagine having that issue of just people want to be around you and be in your presence like all the time.
It would probably be annoying, and it would probably make you distrust 99.9% of anyone you ever came in contact with ever.
Yeah, and that's why Pete seems like a grumpy old fuck sometimes, and he probably is. And I just I hate being like an apologist or like trying to make excuses for him, but yeah, I can see, like, I can't imagine running into Pete Townsend out in the wild and being like, I would feel awful to go up and say hi to him. You know what I mean? Like, because I could tell that guy would not, he's not into that.
Yeah, but he's definitely also told those stories about how it's different when he walks up to someone to ask them. I think he was in the USA and he was at a Walmart and he tapped on someone's shoulder to ask them like where the toothbrushes were or something.
Yeah.
Turned around. This lady was like, knew exactly who he was, knew everything about him, was just like, and like that kind of thing he doesn't mind, of course.
Right.
Right. But if, you're, coming at him with pictures at an airport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if I just like saw him sitting at the end of the bar and I just gave him a little head nod, like that would be all I need, like, ugh.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And I never take those backstage packages I could never meet. I couldn't do it. It'd be too much for me.
Yeah, no, I've contemplated it before, no doubt. There's a couple times early, in the early tours, like the 2006, 7 kind of stuff where I had the meet and greet packages, and I'd look at it and go, ooh, like I could just not go to the next 3 shows and just do this once, but ooh, I don't know.
And it's
I
like,
don't want it to be disappointing. Like,
one, it's so fleeting, and two, it's so like, what could you possibly say? And three, it's like, I don't know. It's too much for me. It's too much for me.
oh, I agree. I'm with you. I didn't do it.
But if I were going to do it, I would do it with someone, so no one would have to ask me how I could do it alone.
Right. Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Right. It's the longest track on the album. How can you do it alone? Song has many movements, and I like one lyric. I don't know. What do you think of How Can You Do It Alone?
I enjoy it. Again, John kind of helps me through this song. Just great bass playing. But otherwise, it's not something I crave. If I never heard it again, I wouldn't be upset. There's like a little strange breakdown towards, the last quarter of the song where there's like these bagpipe-y kind of synthy things going on, or I don't know exactly what the instrument was.
I don't like that part.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I don't know. It's a strange song overall. It had moments for sure. I enjoyed parts of it, but it doesn't finish strong for me.
I thought they were done with the masturbation. I thought they explored everything they could possibly do about that.
Yeah, and then Pete runs into a flasher and writes a song about him.
Yeah. So that's cool, I guess.
So imagine you're the guy who flashed Pete Townsend and he wrote a song about you. Like, do you know? Did you even know it was Pete Townsend? And then, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Too
But
many,
you don't want to say that you were the guy that flashed Pete Townsend.
well, too many of these things happen from Pete drunk on the street at night.
Yeah, no doubt.
He meets the cop in the Soho doorway. He meets this dude on the train. Pete, get it together, friend.
Yeah.
Love you.
Getting pissed drunk around the city is probably not the way to do things. But hey, it resulted in music.
We need Tommy on Broadway in 14 years. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. One lyric stuck out to me. Some women, it seems, have the knack for attaining the stars in their dreams. They simply relax, lay back, while people like us scratch their jeans.
Yeah.
Which, for some reason, Roger Daltrey has to say, okay, and I'll sing all this stuff. And apparently, because he, I'm itching to get it by numbers because it's made me think of Dreaming from the Waist a little bit.
Right.
And it's the same kind of area, and Roger's obviously cool with it. So, guys, I'm sorry you're sexually frustrated.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys you get laid any day of the week, and you're still frustrated.
and you got problems with this dude. It's like, but Pete's fascination with not wanting to get off, but like, how can you do it by yourself? So weird. Right. Anyway.
Yeah, no, there's multiple layers of weirdness floating through his head.
Daily records.
Yeah, this is maybe the one song where I go, ooh, Kenney Jones. Solid song. Was there any guitar on it until the solo, which I think was a guitar sounding like a banjo. I don't know. I like the energy of the song. It doesn't do anything for me, but I enjoy it when it comes on.
One lyric really struck me and I really liked it was I just don't quite know how to wear my hair no more. No sooner cut it than they cut it even more. Got to admit, I've created private worlds, pulled sex and booze don't impress my little girls.
Yeah.
So always self-aware that he does in fact have this separate life at home and it's not jiving well with his day job.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, it's one of my favorite things about him is we're not literally just talking about a guy who is writing songs for no reason. We know that specifically where he is in his songwriting process is paralleling what is going on in his life. Okay? We're not loving in the elevator. We're not in Detroit Rock City. Okay? We're, it's not one more Saturday night. Okay?
Yeah.
And we're not you enjoying myself. Get it.
Yeah.
What we're doing is I'm drinking too much. I'm going on this train that's not moving. I know I have a wife and family at home. This is not doing well for them or for me.
Right.
And that's what I like about that lyric in this song. And that's what I love about Pete Townsend.
Yeah, no, it's not, it's sort of autobiographical, but yeah, you look at, you could pull up any Stones album and it could have been written at any time. It's just like rock and roll music or bar music or whatever the hell you want to call it. And there's, is there much depth to any of it? Not really. But I think that's why The Who doesn't put out album after album after album, because it takes a while for Pete to kind of digest what's going on in his life and express it, musically in lyrics and stuff. So, yeah, no, it was interesting just, reading about the song and how Pete, was so into music and writing album music and producing. And I mean, the guy's probably, he's got thousands of songs stored away or demos and stuff. So you could just tell like that's his element. He's committed. He's, and everything else is just a kind of byproduct of having a life.
And he wishes that's what he could do. And he knows that that's kind of the answer for everything. Whatever other rock and roll BS is aside, he could just go and make records daily and he'd be happy.
Yep. And he genuinely would. And I think if, imagine how much stuff he would have gotten done if he didn't have, life in the way. Like
pesky life. Now, I will say this. I said there was a Lindsey Buckingham type solo in the middle.
Yeah.
And which sounds like a banjo. And then I realized, well, I could call it Lindsey Buckingham type, but Pete Townsend did it first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't hear. I mean, the guitar on this album doesn't stand out to me.
No, not, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than the quiet one, maybe, but.
Right.
That's it.
For You, the song You, all I have was, is this about, two things on this. One, is this about the third wedding, his third wife? I can't tell. Is this another song about hating your wife?
Probably.
I don't really know. And what is it? Save Me? Is that the?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So that made me want to ask you if we should put the Mick Vicker soundtrack on our wheel, because I feel like that's a hole I have, and I knew there's a song there called "Free Me."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll ask you about that later, but I got nothing for You. I didn't really like it.
Yeah. Again, another song I was pretty familiar with, just listening to a lot of John Solo stuff or, live stuff. I'm always partial to John songs. I enjoy this one, but whatever. It's not my favorite. I enjoy the energy and the heaviness of it. And I think Roger does a great job doing the vocals. I think when I hear John do this song live, especially at the point when that album was released, his vocals weren't that strong. So this was a little more refreshing to hear Roger do it. But the lyrics themselves are not great for me. I don't know. It's cheesy-ish, but not clever like John normally is. I don't know. John walks a fine line, I think, with his lyrics usually. This one, I don't know. It's just strange.
I think he's got two modes. He's got clever and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And this is definitely not giving a fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of forgettable. And as of the four John Entwistle songs on these two albums, and all these albums are grouped that way, kind of.
Yeah.
Between It's Hard and this one, this is like the least of the John Entwistle songs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree.
But we can't always get it when we really want it, can we?
No.
This song has Another Tricky Day, which closes out the album. I want to say it was kind of forced upon me as a Who fan.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great, but it's familiar.
Yeah.
It makes that second tier greatest hits things. Like if you get a new format and you can't and you can fit another song on there. They're always fitting another Tricky Day on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it was a minor hit. And they even performed it like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, one of the first times I had heard it, I had a bootleg of I think the Who played Hershey like 2002 or 4 or somewhere in there. I think 2. And I think that was on the bootleg. I'd have to pull it up. But I actually like the song. I think it's one of the stronger on the albums. And I could see why maybe they include it as like a C side or D side on a greatest hits compilation or whatever. It's all right. I mean, I think it's representative of the time and place in the album, but I think it's just because it gets thin towards the, your good songs get thin after, Who by numbers or whatever.
Totally. And what's that new song of theirs that sounds like it? Is it Big Cigars? Was it Big Cigars? Did I think?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm having a really hard. See, when I'll remember these albums. I remember these albums the next week when I have to start listening to the other one.
Right.
That's what happens. Because now I'll start listening to whatever we're going to talk about, and then it'll be like, "Save me, save me." That's how the earworms work.
Right. Yeah. It clicks a little bit later.
Did you listen to any of the bonus tracks?
Yes. Yeah, I listened to I don't know if it was the deluxe or the reissue.
Sure.
So yeah, I like Nightmares, It's in You, and then they had like 2 live songs. Yeah, I'm glad they weren't on the original album.
I like Nightmares and It's in You. I like Nightmares sounds like a John Entwistle song. It sounds like the title should be a John Entwistle song, but it's not.
Definitely.
I did listen to those 2 a couple times, and I listened to them again this morning, and they're not bad. You know what I mean? But I don't think they would have made a huge difference on what might be impact on this album at all.
Yeah, no. It's I like Nightmares. It just definitely filler material. Didn't there wasn't much behind that. It's in You. It just seemed like a copy and paste of some of the other songs in the album style wise. No, nothing special. Didn't care for it.
Yeah, this is a real October of an album. You know what I mean? This is like real October. This is like, I need something to get excited about. I need some Thanksgiving. Somebody Save Me, previously unreleased. It sounds basically like Somebody Save Me from, I know what you're talking about. All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes, right?
Yeah.
This version of that. I didn't listen to the other. Oh, I did listen to How Can You Do It Alone? Because this is the version I remember. This is the live version where he's just kind of got the words, How Can You Do It Alone? And he's just jamming to it.
Yeah.
Which is actually more interesting than the actual song, How Can You Do It Alone?
Agreed.
I think, and let's, once again, I feel like we're remiss. Sorry that we're not high energy today, people. It's October out.
Yeah.
Seasonal deficiencies. What's going on?
Yeah.
Cover's great. Cover's kind of brilliant.
I think it's actually my favorite cover of that's not, Tommy or something.
Yeah. It's a great cover. What are those other things I think was talking? Oh, the drummer. Okay.
Yeah.
The Who has a new drummer. It shows, once again, Kenney Jones is a good drummer. Okay. Yeah. Really good with the live stuff. I don't know. I guess this was Rabbit on this tour.
Yes.
It didn't get to that weird dude until 1981.
Right.
Right. The live stuff from this is some of the better live stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also the Cincinnati tour.
Yeah.
And so it's also some of the most Pete at his drunken, I don't care, let's ram this into the groundness.
Yep.
So look up some. It's really good.
Yeah, but no, yeah, Kenny does a great job. I mean, Kenny's obviously a good drummer. You know what I mean? It's just not the right fit. It's just too machine-like, you know. I don't want to say he's robotic, but he's such a talented drummer. You know, you could throw that guy in AC/DC and he'd crush it.
And robotic is not an insult for a drummer.
No. That's
You
what you
want a
want.
robot. You just don't want one of who sometimes. And even Simon Phillips in his own way was a robot.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, no doubt. You just the Who needs to be a little ebb and flow, and I mean if you play with Keith Moon for however many years, 15 years, and then all of a sudden you have somebody back there keeping it together the whole time, it's like, all right, well, it's just somebody who didn't paint inside the lines, and then you got somebody who paints inside the lines all the time. Just way different kind of art.
That's it. That's Face Dances. It's a review. Let's go on. Well, let's go back to the Fisher Protocol ranker. We didn't rank last time. Right now, so we have 2 albums to rank. Right now, we have number 1, Quadrophenia.
Yep.
Number 2, Who. This is just what we reviewed. Number 3, Endless Wire. What we have not put in there was It's Hard. So let's do It's Hard first.
Oh,
It's Hard at the bottom of all those albums.
I think it is at the bottom. Yeah, I think it's the bottom one there.
And is Face Dances better than Endless Wire for me or you?
I don't know. What do you think? I like Endless Wire. It came out in my lifetime, so it's, I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's what me and you should be conscious of, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If me and you were 20 years old in 1979, right, or however old we were when those 2 albums came out, It's Hard and Face Dances would probably be really good to us.
Oh yeah, no
they
doubt.
came out in our lifetime, but they're not to me. So I put It's Hard at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And I put this right above it.
I agree.
Fancy graphic right now when I do this, but right now we have reviewed 5 Who albums, and they are Quadrophenia in the order we like them. Quadrophenia, Who, Endless Wire, Face Dances, It's Hard.
Yep.
Okay. So there's 2 things I want to talk to you about. We're going to do the wheel, but we're not going to do the wheel. We're just going to say the wheel landed on the Who by numbers. Is that okay with you?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm ready for that.
All right. So, but then I say we prepare for the holiday special.
Yes.
Here's my idea. I'm preparing it now. I want to do a Tommy holiday special. So the idea for the Fisher Protocol spectacular holiday special is you and me in the same room, in the same building.
Yep.
We've all been COVID tested.
Yep.
And mother approved. Okay. And we will choose from, and here's my list. Okay. We're going to listen to Tommy, not like live. You watch us listen to Tommy. That would be dumb. Okay. Yeah. But we're going to listen to 5 different versions of Tommy. We're going to listen to Tommy from 1969.
Yep.
We're going to decide which version we're going to listen to. I'm going to leave it up to you. We're either going to listen to Hull or Leeds live from 1969.
Yep. I think, yeah. If I'm picking it, Leeds, just because I've plowed through it times, but that's just me.
We'll go with Leeds, which is fine for me because that's not my main jam anyway. But you'll hear me out, people.
Yeah, I got you.
We're going to listen to, for sure, the 1989 version of Tommy.
Yeah. We're
going to listen to the movie soundtrack of Tommy.
Yeah.
Here's 2 we need to talk about, because I think 5 is plenty.
Yeah.
Okay. But there are 2 main versions that we have left. I'm not using Roger Daltrey's live because that's basically the album.
Yeah.
Better live things. We do have the Broadway, and we do have the orchestral Lou Reisner 1973.
Ooh.
Have you listened to that?
I haven't, no. I mean, hold on. I have a long time ago, and that was once, I think.
And I think we need to make a massive version of Tommy, one song from each album.
Okay.
We have to choose our song, and I don't know if I could pick one from that, but let's do that because you haven't listened to it, and that throws a nice, interesting thing into it.
Yeah.
Lou Reisner, Tommy. If you need that, let me know.
Okay. Yeah. I don't own it, that's for sure, but I'll see if I get my hands on it.
It is on Spotify.
Okay, I'm good then.
Yeah. As long as we can make one caveat that one song will be from the Broadway version of I Believe My Own Eyes. So we're not even going to do Broadway because that's kind of a pain in the butt. So we got 69, we got Live 70, 69, we have Tommy 89, we have the movie soundtrack, and we have the Lou Reisner orchestral.
Yep.
And that'll just be fun to get your take on it. And I think we'll just go down, we'll have a couple drinks, we'll BS about the Who, and then just come up with a perfect body of Tommy to listen to. And we're not going to be married to our favorite versions.
Yeah, no, I'll have to stray away from leads for sure.
And I'm going to have to stray from 89 because there's a lot in there I really like.
Yeah, I plowed through that a couple times the last couple weeks too. I just didn't know Spotify. I knew it existed, but I don't know why I didn't think about it on the streaming platform I have available to me in my pocket all the time.
Oh, they got it, and it's good. And I think it's got some good it's got some lifelong versions of those songs on there, and we'll have to get into that deep.
Yeah.
Because we do want to do something for the holidays, right?
Definitely.
Why can we not do anything for the holidays? And we should be able to see each other live in flesh. It might be two drunk guys jamming on Go to the Mirror Boy for 2 hours. I don't know, but we'll sit here for you to watch, right? Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
It's good to solidify that. Join us in 2 weeks for The Who by Numbers.
Yeah.
And with Johnny Twinkle. Tom, thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Ethan.
We'll see you.
I'll see you.